shit. So there's no one in it to go, yo, wait a minute, yo, that's wild. Hold on. Let me give you some backtrack to this and maybe think about this different before the shoe even launches. So I mean, we got to get some people in high price or high positions to be able to pull triggers early so that this kind of shit doesn't happen, because it's out there now. The shoe was out there. You said a couple of them even went out. You were going to see them floating around. So backlash is coming regardless. Yeah.
So there you have it right there, man. But you're tuned in to the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother Old God and SamAnt over there from Viral Hip Hop News. We in the building today, fam. I want to talk about Nipsey. SamAnt, an article came out earlier via XXL, and it's pretty much saying that the getaway driver for Nipsey Hussle's killer claimed that he tried to go to the police but was instantly dismissed at the desk and turned away. Now, here are the exact words. She said, when she and her mother arrived at the 77th Street station in LA, she said the woman at the front desk officer told her the car may be tied to the murder. She said that's when the officer turned her away. SamAnt, when I seen this earlier, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, nah, I'm not reading this. Now, I don't even know where to go with this one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't believe it. How could you say that? I mean, this is one of the day after the murder. So this is one of the biggest things that happened. Everybody's going to know about this, especially in the LA area. You go to the police and they turn you away. What were your initial thoughts when you heard this story?
Told you.
Damn.
And I don't mean to, we don't take pleasure in that, but there's more to the story is what I mean by told you. We all were wondering what happened to the driver. How is this driver, who could be a getaway driver, who could be an accomplice to a murder, how does she just walk away scot-free? Well, how do we not know anything?
Right.
And it's because they wanted to keep that whole situation quiet. And we heard her testimony saying what happened, and that even in itself was like, wow, okay, well, there's more to this story now. Her saying that, okay, this shit makes a little more sense now. Makes a little more sense. She could be shook. She could be this. She could be that. She knew what was going on. She's scared. She runs in there. Now this story makes sense a little bit, but it just goes to show you that there's more than meets the eye in this situation, more than jealousy, more than just envy.
Let me read a little bit more what the officer, said, so you can give it a little bit more to it. She goes on to say, one of the officers was like, well, don't worry about it. And this is after she told him she was a part of the Nipsey's murder. He says, well, don't worry about it. Don't listen to the news. The woman said in her grand jury testimony in May. She says, my mom said, well, she needs to talk to somebody. Then he said, don't worry about it. So they just left. That's crazy.
You remember what his mother said at the BET Awards? And not only what she said, but how she looked when she said it. We were there. We sat right there. We looked dead in her face. It was quiet. Could hear a pin drop in that place. And she got on the mic and she looked at it. And people will call her crazy. People call her this. People call her that. That woman is grieving from the loss of her son. She has no answers to the questions. Let that woman do whatever the fuck she wants to do. When she went out there and started talking and immediately started going to what? LAPD. It was just like, they ain't giving her information, blah, 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 blah. We knew Nipsey was trying to get things involved where he was trying to integrate the Bloods and the Crips. He was supposed to have meetings with certain law enforcement officials. What he was doing out there for the community, we got into that ad nauseum. It's too many paper trails, too many breadcrumbs leading to one situation to ignore anymore. Now, how far it's going to go, how far can we take it, how far can we do it talking about it? I don't know. You're dealing with one of the most corrupt industries out here in America.
Yeah,
it's very scary. It's even talking about it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's deep, and it's kind of one of those things where it's so blatantly obvious now, you don't even want to say it. People have to just read between the lines at this point, because it could come to a point where, but the thing is, we're going to, and you guys already know where we're going with this, we're going to have to give you the uncensored truth in this type of situation. And it looks like there was a hit put on the brother. Now, who orchestrated it? We can point to different alphabets if you want. It could have been a combination of a lot of them, but it just seems like there's so many things that are not adding up. But then when you look at, okay, the history of these organizations or these agencies, and then I look at Nipsey and his whole, not only the fact that he had a lot of issues with the LAPD and they tried a lot of different BS, for lack of a better word, against Nipsey, but Nipsey was a stone cold revolutionary, stone cold. You know what I mean? From every pouring out of his body ever since he was a young man. So for him to follow the steps of Tupac, trying to unite the gangs, you do that, you stop drugs, you stop violence, you shut down a lot of money in key places that even police, corrupt police and different things will not want to stop. It benefits them to keep this stuff going because more gang violence, the more overtime, the more drugs on the street, the more they can take off the street, do what they do, recirculate. A lot of people don't know. My man Darren did a great video on this. Is the forfeit and seizure. So they find things, they can find drugs, or they find your car and your car got drugs in it. They seize everything. They're allowed to resell the property that they get and make money off of that to fund their organization, to fund their police station. So essentially they're taking the money off the street anyway and funneling it right back in through that whole bullshit law that they got. So it's just like, man, you're looking at, I think corruption at the highest level when you look at this. And, we were just taught to think analytically, think outside the box. Don't always get, take what they feed you, but look at what's really going on. And I think that, that's my opinion with this. And I'm sure you can agree. Yeah, man. And we said this early on, and I know I damn sure said it. If it not be for the day and age that we live in, Nipsey would be sitting here just like our Biggie, just like Tupac. And we wouldn't know Eric Holder did it. We wouldn't know. We have no clue because everything would be wiped under the rug so easily. They didn't want to give his mother immediate information as to what hospital he was in 15 minutes after it happened. She's out here consoling fans, consoling this, and this woman can't even get proper answer to where her boy is, her child. Mm-hmm. That happens to be the most influential man in that area right now, and he's down. And they know that it's for the worst. You're not giving her information. Why not? Right. Especially if he's supposed to meet the next day with officials to kind of tie the shit up and help you do your job a little better and make sure it's peace out here. Why not? You know all of this. And you turn your face and say nothing. And then the woman that was the accomplice, was the driver of the murder, this man you're looking for, walks into the police station and says, here, I have something to do with this. You tell her to leave, don't watch TV. Whoa. What do you think about the other, because you said that the Internal Affairs will be handling this investigation from here on out, investigating this officer, I think the 77th precinct, that turned her away. What do you think about that investigation? Oh God, I don't know, man. Because only time I ever heard of Internal Affairs is in movies, and cops hated Internal Affairs. I remember that. So they were always up the cops' ass. That's bullshit, though. That's just a movie. It's Hollywood. Yeah. It's Hollywood, and this makes me even go a step further. Like, are we even going to see proper justice in the trial? Are we going to ever know? Are we ever going to know? How deep and how rooted are we going to see this? Is this going to be something where eventually it's Martin Luther King-esque, where we go, yeah, nah, the government did have to do with it. You got us. We're at 25, 30 years later. I don't know. Whoever know, man. It's a sad situation. And, again, we'll just wait. The trial, I guess, will be coming up within the next year or so. We're going to be following this, but I cannot wait until we have a conclusion. So that's when the family is really going to get closure, obviously. When they hopefully, the guy who did it, which it appears to be Eric Holder from the videotape, allegedly, right? Yeah, allegedly, is convicted. I guess of life in prison will be the max that he could get out there in Cali. So sad situation, but we had to report that story. That story is circulating right now, and we definitely want to hear what you guys got to say about that. Yeah, and we're going to talk about it each and every time something comes out. This is huge, and this has to be talked about. So, condolences still to Nipsey Hussle's family, his immediate family and loved ones, and we'll continue to do our job as respectful as possible to conduct the news and bring a broader conversation to the equation until somebody from his family tells us not to. We're going to rock. Yeah, they know how to get in contact with us. Our contact information is widely available. Facts. Definitely. But yeah, man, you're tuned into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother, Old God and SamAnt. We going in today on this Tuesday, family. If you're listening on any podcast network right now, please do not forget to also, subscribe to our channel here, and also please give us a 5-star rating if you love the content that you're listening to right now. Now, SamAnt, you had a story over there that you wanted to speak about. I think it was Diddy and Danity Kane.
Yeah, man. So for those of you who don't know, we all remember Making the Band. We used to love watching the Making the Band Part 1 in here in this living room, Dylan and all them bowls out there. And then I forgot Sarah, forgot her name, but Diddy did the Making the Band, and then he did Part 2. We had the girls, and I think it was a 5-girl group. And they did their little run for a while, but they're now a 3-woman group with a couple of them still doing their thing. And they had some things to say about Diddy that weren't so good. I wanted to talk about on the.
It's only one.